In the last class, we learned about necessary condition for the existence of double limit. So, what was the importance of that theorem? Uh, is that we can prove, or we have got a way to prove how to show that the limit does not exist. So, in the last class, I have already showed you two examples. Okay, today also I'll be showing you two more examples based on the double limit, the non-existence of it. So here is another question. I'll call this question number 3 on the basis on non-existing. So again, let f of x comma y equals to xy by x square plus y square, and provided xy cannot be 0 0. Definitely, because the domain cannot contain 0 0, both 0, and rest everything is the domain. So domain is whole R2 minus 0 0, and 0 0 is the limit point clearly. Now they are asking you check this is not working properly. Check the existence of this limit. Existence of limit x comma y tends to 0 comma 0. Another way of writing is x tends to 0, y tends to 0. F of x, y. This you have to check whether this limit will exist or it will not exist. So again, as I said, you have to go to 0 0 using different possible paths. So here is your point 0 0, which is not in the domain anyways, but it is the limit point of the domain. You have to go to 0 0 using any path. Okay, using any path. Now you see here, if I go along x-axis, you always start by this. This is the easiest way, right? So if I go along x-axis, that means I am going along y equals to 0. I am going to 0 0 along this line, Put y equals to 0 here, the function will itself become 0, as simple as that, because the denominator becomes 0. X into y is 0, so 0. X into 0 is 0, and denominator has x square, which may not be 0. So the function is 0. So what will be this limit? This limit is identically 0 for sure, right? It is 0. Okay. Now, if I go along this one, if I go along 0 0 using the y-axis, that is along the curve x equals to 0. X equals to 0. So if I am going along x equals to 0, if I put here x equals to 0, again the function becomes 0. Again the function becomes 0. So the limit is 0. So if I am going along this red line or along this black line, I am getting the same limits. So this will neither guarantee the non-existence of limit, nor it will guarantee the existence of this limit to be 0. Understood up to here? So that means I have to search for some different paths, because you will always start with this path. Remember, this is the easiest path to think of. And as you know, the first example that we had done, I went to 0 0, I approached 0 0, using this line. It was 1, and if I approach using this, it was minus 1. So this will guarantee the non-existence of the limit. But here, it is I cannot say that whether the limit exists or it does not exist. I have to choose for any other path. So what is the any other path possible? So any other line will always start with a line. So the easiest line are these two lines, a vertical line and a horizontal line and a vertical line. Now let us take any line. Suppose I am talking about this line, or I am talking about this line. I am going to 0 0 along this line, along this line, along this line, along this line. So what is the equation of these lines? They will be of the form y equals to mx, right? Because they pass through the origin, so they will of the form y equals to mx, where m is the slope of that line. So for different lines, the slope will be different, but I can definitely approach 0 0 using any of this line. So let me write that. Okay, let me see what happens if I approach along this. So we approach we approach 0, 0 along any straight line, y equals to mx. So let's approach using any straight line y equals to mx, and y equals to mx definitely passes through 0, passing through 0. So I am approaching to 0, 0 using this line, and I can definitely choose this line because as x tends to 0, y tends to 0. So this condition must be satisfied. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Okay. Then let's see this limit. So then limit x tends to 0, f of x comma y. What is y? Y can be replaced by mx. So I am finding this limit. What is this limit? Limit x tends to 0. Instead of x you put x, and instead of y you put mx. So what will the numerator become? It will become m square x by, this is x square plus mx square. So x square plus mx square. Sorry, m square x square. Yeah.
It's mx square.
Oh, so sorry. Mx square. Yeah, not m square x, but mx square. Thank you. So this y is mx. So I am putting it mx. So m into x into x, that is mx square, not m square x. So sorry. Now this is a problem of single valued limits, right? Like this is not a double limit. This is just the usual limit that you have been doing in analysis. So if how to solve this limit? X square is common from the denominator, 1 plus m square, and you see here x approaches 0 but x is never 0. That is the meaning of that, right? So x square can be cancelled, and m being a number, it will be independent of limit. So what is the value of this limit? M by 1 plus m square. And now you see it is different for different values of m. Suppose if I would have taken here 2x, y equals to 2x, then the answer will be different. And suppose if I would have taken y equals to 3x, your answer will be different. So what I am seeing, if I approach to 0, 0 using different lines, I'll get different answers. My limit depends upon m. If m is 2, I'll get a different answer. When m is 3, I'll get a different answer. When m is 5, I'll get a different answer. So the limit cannot exist. So I'll simply write which depends on m. So definitely the limit depends upon n. So for different n, we get different limits. We get different limits. So what can I say that the limit cannot exist? Therefore, limit x tends to 0, y tends to 0, which is same as that xy tends to 0, f of x comma y cannot exist or does not exist, right? Does not exist. So this is the idea. I hope you understood. You got the idea or no? So you take any possible paths, okay? Yeah. Suppose my answer was independent of m, then what I am getting, that along any line, I will get the same answer, right? Along any line, I'll get the same answer. So in that case, again, no conclusion can be made. You have to take another path to check. Suppose you take a parabolic path, y equals to x square or y equals to mx square. So that way you have to go. There is no way to choose why I am choosing this path, why I am not choosing that path, and so on. But always start with the x-axis, then y-axis, then lines, then parabola, and so on. Should I proceed to the next question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So here is the question. You have a function like this, f of x comma y is x cube plus y cube by x minus y if x not equals to y, and 0 otherwise when x equals to y. So definitely to find this limit, this will not be required, because when we are tending towards 0, 0, uh, so definitely the values of x and y is not 0, not both are 0, so this will not be required. Only this will be required to find the limit. Similarly, we had done in single valued functions to find limits, we never take this one. Okay, anyways, now see here, again you have to show that this limit does not exist. So again, first of all, let me write few things that 0, 0 is a limit point and so on. Okay, domain is clearly the whole of R2. The domain is clearly whole of R2 and 0, 0 is definitely a limit point because every point is there in the domain. So here, domain of the function is actually all of R2 because it is defined for every possible real numbers, right? X comma y R2, and definitely 0, 0 is definitely a limit point, is a limit point of f of the domain Good enough. Now let us start approaching using different curves. How will you start? By taking x equals to y equals to 0. Let me approach using this curve, right? Let me approach using this curve. So just you may check here, I'll not show this. I'm just putting y equals to 0 here. When I'm putting y equals to 0 here, so what happens when I'm putting y equals to 0 here? I'm getting x cubed by x. On cancelling, I'm getting x square. And what is the limit? As x tends to 0, it is 0. So when I'm approaching towards this line, I'm getting the answer to be 0. Let me approach using this curve, that is the y-axis. I'll put x equals to 0. When I'm putting x equals to 0 here, so this is getting 0. Y cubed by minus y, that is minus y square. And again, as y tends to 0, that is again 0 because minus y square will tend to 0 as y tends to 0. So again, I'm getting 0. So no conclusion can be made. No conclusion can be made. So let me go along any straight line. So if we approach, this also you may write in your exam, but I am not writing because using this too I cannot make any conclusion. So if we approach 0, 0 along any line y equals to mx, then let's see what happens to this limit. Then let's check the limit. Then limit x tends to 0, f of x comma y is nothing but mx. It is limit x tends to 0. Instead of y, we have to replace mx. Keep that in mind. So x cube plus y cube. What is y cube? M cube x cube by x minus y. So x minus mx. Take x cube common from the numerator and remain with 1 plus m cube by x minus, take x common, so 1 minus m. 1x will get cancelled. 1x will get cancelled. What will I remain with? Limit x tends to 0, x square into 1 plus m cube by 1 minus m. Now keep that in mind, this is a number. This is just a number. M is independent of x. This can be taken outside the limit. And what is this? This is definitely 0. So this number taken outside, limit x tends to 0, x square, that is 0. And 0 into this number is 0. Now we are in trouble. Why? Because I thought that if I am choosing any line, I'll get different answers. But this time, it hurted our expectation basically. Right? So when I am choosing this kind of lines, again it is independent of m. My answer does not depend upon m. So again, no conclusion can be made. So if I am going along any line, I am getting the limit to be 0. So again, this cannot guarantee the existence of the limit, neither it can guarantee the non-existence. So we are stuck in between. What next? What curve should I choose next? You may try with a parabola next, but again you will see, you will get the answer 0. So we're getting things in chart. So now I will choose a third degree polynomial. Okay, if I take, I'll approach to 0, 0 using some another polynomial. So again you may check, if you take any parabola y equals to mx squared, you put here, you will get again 0, most probably because the denominator has cube and this does not have has a cube. What I will do, I will choose a third degree polynomial this time, like y is something containing x cube. Try to understand my point very carefully. So y is suppose x cube. Okay. Now try to understand my point. If I have x cube here, if I'm writing here x cube, again the same problem will happen. Only x is common from the denominator. When I am putting y equals to x cube, what I am getting? X minus x cube. Please understand, x minus x cube. But again the same problem will happen. Only x will be common from the denominator, and that can only cancel one x in the numerator. The numerator will again have x squared, and again the limit will tend to 0. That is of no use. Did you understand my point, what I said? Or no?
Yes, sir.
Everybody or no? My point is, when I am putting y, you may just pick up your pen and start doing. You write here y, instead of y you write x cube. But when I am writing here x cube, only x is common from the denominator. That can only cancel one x in the numerator, and again that is nothing but x square will be remaining anyhow, and that will tend to 0 or x tends to 0. That will not help us. I want to cancel this x. So what I will do, I will choose y to be x minus something. Why I am choosing x minus something? Because if I am writing a x, this x and x is getting cancelled. And because it has x cube, let me write here x cube. So this y I will be choosing. So I will go to 0, 0 using this beautiful curve. Y equals to x minus x cube. Okay, and let's see what happens. So at least this will help me to cancel this x, and my denominator will remain with x cube. You can also take plus here. It is right. So let me check here. So, and check one thing. I have not taken this like arbitrary. As x tends to 0, y should tends to 0. So when x is tending to 0, this should go to 0. You cannot take plus 1 or something here. That will not tend to 0 anymore. So let me write that down. So we are now going to approach 0, 0 using this curve. So we now approach 0, 0 using y equals to x minus x cube, along, not using, along this curve, So then what is this limit? Limit x tends to 0, f of x comma y is nothing but x minus x cube. Put in the function was x cube plus y cube. So x cube plus y cube, good enough, cube by x minus y. So let me open the bracket now again. So x minus y, okay, leave it. For the timing I'll leave it. So let's open the numerator. Oh, sorry. I forgot to write a limit here. Limit x tends to 0. So let's solve this limit. So this is limit x tends to 0. Apply the formula for, or what you can do, you can take x common, right, from inside. So from inside x is common. So 1 minus x square whole cube. I'm taking things common inside the cube itself, by x minus x plus x cube. This is getting cancelled. Limit x tends to 0. This is what? X cube plus, if I open this bracket, so this will become x cube into 1 minus x square whole cube by x cube. And you see, if I now take x cube common from the numerator, so what I am remaining with 1 plus 1 minus x square whole square by x cube, and this problem has been solved. What I am getting, limit x tends to 0. This limit I am remaining with, and what is this limit? As you can check, you put x equal to 0 here, so this will become 1 plus 1, which is nothing but 2. So if we were going to 0 0 using the lines, I was getting the answer to be 0, but if I am choosing this curve, I am getting the answer to be 2. So what can I say? The limit cannot exist, right? Understood or no? Okay. Angel says cute, sir. Very nice. Okay. So,
Sir, you mean that x 1 minus x square to the power cube?
oh. So sorry. Yeah, this will be. Yeah. Right. Okay. So you can just conclude like this. If you are going, like if we approach 0 0 0 along this line, right, y equals to mx, what I was getting the limit to be, limit x tends to 0, y tends to 0 was going to be 0, but if we approach 0 0 along this nice curve y equals to x minus x cube, this limit x tends to 0, y tends to 0, f of x comma y is actually 2. So thus this limit, so double limit, cannot exist or does not exist. Understood? So I have done enough problems on existence and non-existence of limits. I have done 4 or 5 sums how to find the limit, and 4 or 5 sums how to check the limit does not exist. We are starting with something called as repeated limits. So here what we will do, so I'll just tell you what I mean by repeated limits. I will do one after the another. Like suppose the repeated limits are denoted like this: limit x tends to a, limit y tends to b, f of x comma y. Just a minute. Yes. So what I mean by this, I will first find this limit. Okay, assuming x to be constant. I'll find this limit assuming x to be constant. So simply this is a limit that you do in the, like this is a single variable thing, because x is being treated as a constant here. So this is just a function of y. So you'll find limit y tends to be a function of y and x is constant. So you will first find this limit. So suppose on finding this limit, you will get something in terms of x here, right? So suppose I call that as a phi of x. Understood this? What I mean, what I'm saying? You are approaching y towards b and you are finding this limit treating x to be constant. So x can be taken outside and so on. So you will get something in terms of x. I am calling that as phi x. Now again we will find this limit. Now again this is a problem that you do in real analysis. You can easily find this limit. Suppose that limit is lambda. This will be independent of x. So this is what we mean by repeated limits. This is different than double limit. At double limit, while doing double limit, we were going to xy towards 0 0 or towards AB simultaneously, right? Here this will not happen. We'll first find this limit y tends to b of this function, and then we'll find x tends to a, and so on. But you might argue, sir, we can also find this, no? Limit y tends to b, limit x tends to a, f of x comma y. So this time I'll find this first. I'll get something in terms of suppose psi y, right? And what I'll get next is suppose lambda dash. Now the first thing that hit our minds is, are these two always equal? That is our first question. Second thing, is there any relation between repeated limits and double limits? Like, can I say if the repeated limits exist, the double limit will also exist, or vice versa, and so on? So there are many problems that have arose now, right? So let me first describe or give me a very proper definition of repeated limits. So understood what I mean by repeated limits? So basically what we are doing, we are finding limits two times but keeping one variable as constant. So let me define what I mean by repeated limits. So this is the definition. A very precise definition is this. Let D be a subset of R2. So now we are studying only about R2 and not Rn in general. And f be a function from D up to R. Okay, good enough. Be a function of two variables, two independent variables, all these things are very obvious to write, and a comma b be a limit point of the domain, definitely, of D. I was thinking much, I don't know. Now try to understand. If limit y tends to be f of x comma y, so I am finding this, try to understand, I am finding this. If this exists, right? If this exists is a function of, so if this limit exists, it will be a function of x. That's what they are saying. If this limit exists, is a function of x, say phi x. So what I mean by this, that is, I am assuming that suppose this limit y tends to be f of x comma y is nothing but phi x. So this is what I have written here. Okay, next I will find this limit. Now if limit x tends to a phi of x, you can understand I am finding this limit now. If this limit exists and equals lambda, suppose, that is what I mean by this, that is this limit x tends to a phi of x is lambda, as already written here. As you can see, I have written everything here and they are writing in more detail and nothing else. Then we write like this. Then we write, as already explained, how will we write this? Limit x tends to a, limit y tends to b, f of x comma y is lambda, and lambda is said to be a repeated limit of f. A repeated limit of f when y tends to be first. So I am first approaching this, and then x tends to. So we can define this repeated limit in a similar way that I am not defining it. You all can define by yourself. Okay. So if I change their order, that means I'll send this limit here, I'll send this limit here. Then that is said as another repeated limit, and there we write x tends to a first and y tends to b. Okay. So similarly, we define. So this time what we will do, we will take y. There I have taken y first. Here I'll take x first. So y tends to be limit x tends to a f of x comma y. Suppose this is coming as lambda dashed. In general, lambda may not be equal to lambda dashed. In general, lambda may not be equal to lambda dashed. We'll see some examples, don't worry about this. So this is the definition, and following the definition we can start with the sums, because this is a problem of calculating limits that you have been doing in real analysis twice. This has nothing to do with like functions of several variables, because to find this limit you must have the concept of limits of single variable, right? So let me very quickly take some examples. Okay, so let me take an example. So again, this example I am taking. So example number 1. So let f of x comma y equals to xy by x square plus y square x comma y not equals to 0 comma 0. This example few minutes back I had taken. So we just saw that the double limit does not exist. You see, I had done this question few minutes back. This was number 3. Yeah. This question I had done today. Just keep in mind that this limit does not exist. A few minutes back I had proved. Right? Few minutes back I had proved. Keep that in mind. The double limit does not exist. So let's see about the repeated limits. Let's see the repeated limits. So this is my question. Let us find these two limits. So find this limits. Limit x tends to 0, limit y tends to 0, f of x comma y, and another one, that is limit y tends to 0, limit x tends to 0, f of x comma y. So let's very quickly find these two repeated limits and see what can we conclude, what conclusion can be made. Very easy. Limit x tends to 0, limit y tends to 0, f of x comma y. What is this? I will do it here. Limit x tends to 0. I will first evaluate this limit. Limit y tends to 0. xy by x square plus y square. Keep that in mind that x is a constant. Keep that in mind while evaluating this limit. X is a constant. So whatever I get, this limit is clearly defined. You might just think like this: 2y by 4 plus y square. X is just some number. X is being treated as a constant. So this limit exists, and if I put y equals to 0, this everything is becoming 0. Understood why? Just to think this as a function of single variable. Assume x to be in some number. So this is a number, this is a number. I am getting some number times y by 1 plus y square, this clearly tends to 0. And what is this limit as x tends to 0? It is 0. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So let's find out the another repeated limit. Limit y tends to 0. Just hold on for a minute. I may end this call. I'll come back in 2 minutes. Just a minute. Just very quickly check. What is this? Yeah, so limit. This time I'm computing x first, but doesn't matter because limit x tends to, y tends to 0 first. First is this. Limit x tends to 0. xy by x square plus y square. Again, treating y to be constant, but x is 0, so that will make this limit 0. So this I am getting limit y tends to 0, 0, and this is the number 0. So this example will be a very important one because this has given us a this one, what I say, counter example, that even if both the repeated limit exist and are equal, but the double limit may not exist. You see, few minutes back I had done that this double limit x tends to 0, y tends to 0, does not exist, but though the repeated limit exists. So what I'll write here, limit x tends to 0, limit y tends to 0, f of x comma y is same as limit y tends to 0, limit x tends to 0, f of x comma y. They're equal even though the double limit, which I had calculated few minutes back, the double limit x tends to 0, y tends to 0, they are different. Okay, there is a difference in this two. There is a double limit does not exist. So just we will take this as a note. So in exam, if I ask you, give me an example of a function for which the repeated limits exist and they are equal, but the double limit does not exist. Okay, so I can give you this, you can give this example, the function xy by x square plus y square. And there are many other functions, by the way. Okay, so yeah, very clear. So remember, if both the double limit exist and are equal, I cannot guarantee that the double limit will exist. So let me write that as a note. So here is a note. So the first note is, if two repeated limits exist and equal, then the double limit of f at AB may or may not exist. So there is no such guarantee. Keep that in mind. There is no such guarantee. So even though if the repeated limits exist and are equal, you cannot say anything about the double limit. Okay, so there is one thing to note from here. Okay, now we have another relations of double limit and this limit. So there are few things about algebra of limits first of all. So that will be your homework. Like remember, you have done in real analysis, if limit of fx is L and limit of gx is M, both extending to A, the limit x tends to A fx plus gx, this is nothing but L plus M, limit x tends to a fx minus gx, this is L minus m. Limit x tends to a fx into gx, that is L into m. You all have done this and the proof was very simple, just taking the definition. Similarly, algebra of limits are here, that I will not be doing due to the time constraint, like time is very less basically, so we cannot do those things in detail. I'll keep that as your homework. Please go through the proofs. The proofs are just using the definition. If you do not get any line, please ask me, I'll help you out. I'll send you the proofs, by the way. So one thing that I would like to do is this. Okay, done this. So let me state the theorem. Let me state the theorem. This is the theorem. Okay. So here is the theorem. Okay, here is the theorem. A very simple one, but written in much more detail. If I say what this theorem tells you is this. Suppose that the double limit exists and is equal to L. Suppose the double limit exists and is equal to L. Keep that in mind. This will not guarantee that these two will be equal. Okay. So one more condition is required, this condition. So if the double limit exists and this condition is satisfied, then the repeated limits will be equal. Okay, so if the double limits exist, if the double limit exists and is equal to L and this condition is satisfied, then both the repeated limits will be equal and will also be equal to L, that I forgot to write, is equal to L again. But what is this limit? This one? What is this one? It's very simple. This limit, this one, I'm talking about this one, right? This will be a function of x. Keep that in mind. This is a function of x. This should exist for fixed value of x in the deleted neighborhood of x. So first thing, remember, this one should exist, okay, and it should be fixed for, or it should exist for fixed value of x in the deleted neighborhood of A. This should exist and it should exist in the deleted neighborhood of A, in simple words. And similarly, this one should exist and in the deleted neighborhood of B. So if this condition is satisfied, then existence of double limit will guarantee the existence and the equality of these two repeated limits. What I mean by this condition, when I do sums, then you will understand more precisely. So my point is this should exist. Okay, if it does not exist, I cannot talk about the repeated limit. Okay, so just existence of double limit will not mean the existence of the repeated limits. Keep that in mind. Okay, existence of double limit will not guarantee the existence of the repeated limits. If the double limit exists and this condition is satisfied, then I can say that the repeated limits will be equal and equal to L. But if this condition is not satisfied, then double limit may not exist. Repeated limits may not exist. Understood the theorem? So very quickly write a note. Existence of double limit may not guarantee the spelling of guarantee seems wrong to me. You may just change. Okay, existence of double limit may not guarantee the existence of repeated limits. So keep that in mind. So we have seen two important notes which I had given a few minutes back. The above one, what this one said, even if the two repeated limits are equal and equal to L, then it may happen so that the double limit may not exist. And what is this note I have given you? That the existence of double limit may not guarantee the existence of repeated limits. That means only with the help of this I cannot say this happens. One more extra condition should be satisfied. Okay, if this condition is not satisfied, even though the double limit exists, the repeated limit may not exist and may not be equal. Okay, so I have not done the proof of this theorem. Again, I am saying the time is very less. I'll show you the proof if I get time. I'm skipping the proof for the time being. Okay, I'll show you the proof. I'll give you the picture of the proof. You just go through it just using the definition. And if I get more time, I will definitely discuss, because mostly I have to discuss with many problems. This portion has many problems to deal with. Okay. One last note I will make. So this is another note. Another note I will make. So this is what I have as my last note. Now this is important. If this is just the converse of the previous application or contrapositive statement of the previous theorem. If the two repeated limit exists but are not equal, then the double limit will not exist. Okay, why this happens I'll tell you. You see, if this is equal to L and if this condition is satisfied, then this both will be equal to L, right? So if I go in the contrapositive manner, so if this does not happen, that means if these two are not equal, and when I'm saying that these two are existing but not equal, so this condition has been satisfied. So in that case, this limit cannot exist. Okay, so this is what I have written here. If the two repeated limit exist but are not equal, then the double limit does not exist. So this is all possible relations that I have discussed between repeated limits and the double limit. I'll repeat all these three notes. What is the first note? If both the repeated limit exist and are equal, then double limit may not exist. This was the first note that I made. What was the second note? Existence of double limit may not exist, may not guarantee the existence of the repeated limits. And number 3, if the repeated limit exists but are not equal, then the double limit does not exist. So this is another criteria to check the non-existence of some limits. You find out both the repeated limits. If they are not coming same, you can say that the double limit does not exist. Okay, I'll do this much for today. I'll do 2 or more sums in the next class, and then I'll start with continuity. Tomorrow only I will take CC8. Then Friday, Saturday I'll be taking graph theory. I'll complete this portion very quickly. Okay, so that's all for today. If you have any doubts, any confusion, feel free to ask. Thank you.